My wife used to be a super popular cheerleader in high school, yet her daughter has grown up to be an introverted horror fan, and I can't help but think that she hates her own daughter for not wearing pink. I, 34 meters, am married to my hot wife, 31 feet. In high school, my wife was a popular girl stereotype. Pink, blonde chunky highlights in her brown hair, this was the mid-late 2000s. She was on the cheerleading team, had lots of friends and boyfriends, and was well known and liked. She was basically the living embodiment of the picture-perfect girl from those cheesy 2000s high school movies. And then she got pregnant. When she was 15, she had her daughter. She doesn't know who the father is, and any potential fathers for the girl up and left way back when. Her daughter is recently 16. I never wanted kids, I found them annoying. But I fell in love with my wife and got married when she was 20 and I was 23 after dating for 2 years. We hit it off, and I married her and decided to suck it up around the kid. I never planned to absolutely love being a dad to her specifically. Kids still annoy me, but my daughter, stepdaughter technically, was different. She was quiet, nerdy even at a young age. I married her mother when she was 5, and we clicked right away. We went on daddy-daughter dates every weekend. I played dolls with her, let her paint my nails and do makeup on me. I drove her to and from school in my cop car. We even did daddy-daughter duo costumes for Halloween. Over the past 2 years, she's developed a darker dress style. I don't know what the proper subculture of her outfits is, but according to her, she's dressing like a horror game protagonist and a Monster High character. Purple is the main color she incorporates into this specific aesthetic blend, as she calls it. I don't get it, but maybe that's because I'm a man in my 30s. She likes ghosts, tarot cards, vampires, zombies, aliens, creepy Victorian dolls. I don't get it, but I don't care because if it makes her happy, so what? She's also an introvert and prefers to play games on her computer or read fantasy occult novels rather than hang out with other teens her age. She has friends, so I'm not too worried about her being completely withdrawn. I'm just glad I don't have to drive her around since she only has a learner's permit currently. My wife hates this. My wife always wanted a girly girl, pinks and pastels and flowers and all that. She wants our daughter to get a boyfriend, be more social, be a cheerleader like she was. Which, in itself, is valid. I get it, I'm sure most parents have preferences for what they want their kid to turn out like, and some disappointment when they stray from that fantasy is valid. Some. My wife will constantly take and hide my daughter's darker room decor. She constantly gets pastel dresses for our daughter, tells her to wipe off her dark eye makeup, tries to set her up on dates with jock types from my daughter's school, and convinces her to sign up for both school and summer activities like cheerleading or volleyball. I could have put up with all of that, I really could have. But a few weeks ago, I woke up to my wife finally hitting her breaking point. I woke up in the middle of the night to my wife screaming and having what I can confidently describe as a borderline meltdown. She was crying and saying all she ever wanted was a normal daughter who likes pink, is a cheerleader, has a boyfriend, and will give her grandkids. I had to drag her out of the hallway after 30 minutes of this. I kept thinking it would stop, but it kept going on and on. My daughter was just staring at this whole thing in the doorway of her room. What caused this meltdown for my wife? My daughter dyed purple over the blonde streaks and highlights my wife had forced her to get in her hair. Which wasn't even breaking a house rule, as my wife and I have both told her she can do whatever she wants with her hair as long as she doesn't stain too many towels. It's been weeks, and my daughter won't talk to her mom. My wife is still up with her antics, but now it's in overdrive. Every day she brings home some type of trendy clothing in pink or pastels and tries to give it to my daughter. My daughter is getting fed up and stays in her room all day, and has confessed to me she can't wait for school to start back up in a few weeks so she can get out of the house and be with her friends again. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to side with anyone in this situation. I understand my wife wants a daughter she can relate to, and my daughter wants a mom who understands her. I don't know what I can or should do. I need help. I need advice. What do you think I can do? Relevant comments. You need to side with your daughter. Your wife's behavior is controlling, harmful, and deeply inappropriate. She does not get to decide who her daughter is. Her, and your, daughter is her own person. She's not a mini-me of anyone. Does your wife want her to get pregnant at 15? Sorry to be so aggressive, but it's time to be blunt here. Does your wife want her to be a teenage mom who doesn't know who the father is? Really? I don't think so. Do you? Nothing you've described about your daughter is harmful or worrying. Literally nothing. And that's really important because that's the only valid reason to interfere. Not because mom wants her to like a certain color or wear certain clothes. There's nothing valid about that. Your daughter sounds like a cool kid, and even still who she is now doesn't mean anything about who she will become. I was the piercing obsessed, 13, hair dyed, hippie teen who now is a law professor. I'm still me and also someone very different from teenage me. Let your daughter be who she is right now and hope that she allows you to get to know who future her is. If you don't stand up for her now, that's the cool person you're going to miss out on, and she will be right to distance from both of you. Also, these Monster High characters are super stylish. There's a Lady Gaga collab doll. I bet your daughter looks cool and stylish in her outfits, and somebody needs to tell your wife stop trying to make pastel happen. And, to steal from my goddaughter's favorite retort, if she's 31, your wife's style was popular last century. Definitely not. My wife always stressed to our daughter to not have intimacy until she felt ready. She always said she would help our daughter get on birth control and have any type of defense against kids she wanted. My wife gave her the talk when our daughter got her period, which I learned is when most girls get that talk. She's always been clear about how she wanted our daughter to be safe and responsible with whoever she ended up getting with and not to rush things with any partners. Update. It's been about a week since I last posted about how my wife was having a meltdown over how my daughter chose to dress. 2 nights after I posted, I sat my wife down and very bluntly asked her what exactly the problem was. She kept saying she just wanted a daughter who was similar to her, but after I kept asking, she broke down and admitted the real reason why she was having her meltdowns. My wife feels that her daughter is the only way for her to have more family in the future. She's estranged from her siblings, her parents don't speak much to her, and all of her friends from high school stopped talking to her after her pregnancy. She wants a family back, and she's hoping that her daughter will marry a nice boy and give her grandkids so she can have a family again. She said she never brought up having more kids with me because she figured I'd be against the idea. I don't know how I feel about having more kids with my wife, but it certainly won't happen now. So my wife is in therapy to try and get her to realize that she can't just view my daughter as a way to create a family. She's doing well so far, but it's too soon to really tell. My daughter is also in therapy. She's been in therapy since she was a kid for bullying issues, but now her therapist is trying to focus on the meltdown situation with her. My daughter actually seems relatively unaffected by this whole situation other than a little annoyed, so I don't know if that's good or not. I took my daughter to Hot Topic for some back-to-school accessories and then took her out to eat, just the 2 of us. She's still excited to go back to school, she misses her friends and her clubs. My wife and daughter have started talking normally again. They had a long talk, which I was present for, where my wife apologized for being so pushy and extreme with her wishes. My daughter was receptive to this talk and seems to be back to her normal self. I am keeping an eye on both of them to be sure. My wife is doing her best to understand my daughter's interests. Last I know, the 2 were watching some slasher TV show on Hulu as a way to bond, and it appears to be working. There isn't any bad blood between the 2. I know things are soon, and that things can change, but so far everything appears to be smoothing over pretty well. Thank you for all the advice, harsh and gentle. It definitely slapped me in the face as to what could happen if I didn't get both of them help and make them talk it out.